is the Orange Zone, sponsored by Apex Entertainment.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Orange Zone podcast. We got a full house today. Ashley Wenskoski. We got Orange Great Lawrence Moten. I'm Samantha Croston. Thanks so much for joining us. There were trials. There were tribulations. But Syracuse men's and women's basketball are both headed to the ACC Tournament. How we feeling?
Ladies first.
We're feeling good. You know, that was the goal that we had set for Syracuse men's basketball and the women's team to both get into the ACC tournament. They will be there, one of the top 15 teams in the league. I do hate that that's the goal at this point, like to throw that caveat out there, but it's good that they'll be there nonetheless, and you never know what can happen. Just ask NC State last year.
Yep, exactly. Ashley, but 2 weeks ago, we were a little upset. We were trying to figure out where we were going to be. Now that we know both teams are in the ACC tournament, it's a good thing, and we're going to root them on, and hopefully they'll go far.
You know, I was talking with somebody about this recently. I just have to get this off my chest. March Madness is one of the best things in sports. Sincerely. And to me, it is not particularly close. Yeah. And the reason why is because I'm like nerding out, explaining all the rules, right? And I'm like, what's so great about it is I truly feel like, you know, in compared to other leagues and even other sorts of playoff styles, like you really never know who is going to win these games. And no matter how many times people fill out brackets and no matter what happens, you could be a team like Syracuse. And I know everyone's like, it's not going to happen. But end of the day, if they still wanted to be in the NCAA tournament right now, they would have a chance. And it's cool the fact that that is the format. Yes. I'm not saying they're going to win the ACC tournament. That is by no means my prediction. But it's nice to know that that's an option. You know what I mean? Like there's always a reason to fight, which I think is pretty cool.
There's no question about it. March Madness is a beautiful thing. You know, I'm a little biased, Sam and Ashley, because March is my birthday month. And
when's your birthday?
March 25th.
Oh, we'll have to keep that.
I'm an Aries and had some great times in the tournament, playing in March and going far. I remember winning and going to the Sweet 16 the day before my birthday. And we played against Arizona. So great times, and it's always good. I call it Moten Madness.
I love that. Moten Madness. That's
I can get into that.
That's awesome.
All right, well, yeah, so obviously we'll see what ends up happening with Syracuse men's basketball, but they are going to the ACC tournament. And sort of in the classic and typical fashion of this year, they lost their most recent game, and it still didn't matter because other things happened with other teams, and ultimately they almost got in that way. So I guess let's maybe just go back to that and take a beat on that first, and then we'll look ahead. What did you guys think about the Virginia Tech loss? The final score was 101-95 last Saturday.
Well, first of all, that's a lot of points. 101 points from a Virginia Tech team that you give up is not really good. You know, I talked to Ashley earlier, and I had mentioned that I was watching the game. I didn't get to see the whole game, but I was watching the game, and at halftime we were up, I think, 11. I ended up falling asleep, guys.
That's okay.
And I woke up and found out we lost.
I woke up, I thought it was a nightmare.
Reality when you wake up.
When I really thought, I was like, okay, we good, we got this. And because they were playing very well in the first half.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was doing their job, guys making shots. The Guy Davis, I think is his name, the power forward that we have. He played Jair Davis played very well. And I was expecting to wake up with a win, and I woke up with a loss.
Yeah, similar fashion. I was at the women's lacrosse game shooting it, so I was kind of monitoring it on my phone. Saw we were up by 13. I was like, all right, 13-point lead. Right. That seems safe.
Yeah.
It's never safe.
Not this year.
Not to mention, they get into overtime. They get into the 5 minutes of bonus overtime. Virginia Tech put up 15 points in 5 minutes of overtime.
Wow.
You blink, and I mean, that's hard to do, 15 points in 5 minutes. So that's how you get to 101.
I kind of saw it, the final score, and I was kind of like, that's just how it goes. I knew that the NC State game was the important game. I knew that they were able to win that. I was like, it's all good. We're all fine now. But, yeah, I mean, obviously that was disappointing. I'm not going to, dwell on it too much, but I do think that was yet another game that they could have won that somehow escaped their grasp. That being said, there's 2 games remaining on the schedule. They have a game tonight against SMU. That's away. And then they return. It is away, isn't it? Yeah. And then they return to, that's why it's at 9 o'clock. Then they return and they play Virginia at home, 8 o'clock Saturday, March 8th. So that really is the last time that you can see them here at the Dome if you're interested in trying to see them play. What do you guys think about these last two opponents?
Last two opponents, one winnable game. We'll see tonight against SMU. From what I'm hearing, SMU is a very feisty team. They have a good record, maybe I think 21-8, something like that. And we're playing.
21-8.
Yeah, we're playing in Dallas, so it's going to be tough. But hey, we just got to play hard and try to just gain momentum and try to get on some type of winning track going into the ACC tournament. But if it's anything I can say, and I've been noticing it, JJ, I'm speaking to you. I'm going to need you to play 2 halves of basketball, and we need you to start off strong. You know, we can't win games when your star players only having 1 point at halftime.
Yeah, JJ, I don't know what is up with that this year. He really is. And then he lights up in the second half, and everybody's all excited. All right, we're going to go on a run. That's not what happened in the Virginia Tech game, but it usually is. I don't know what's up with him in the first half.
Yeah. Consistency is key, and he's a great player, you know, and he's done great things for us this year, but we're going to need it for 40 minutes and not 20.
It's like he needs 20 minutes to wake up. Maybe he needs to get out there earlier for warm-ups.
Dude, I don't know. But I totally agree with that. Like, I think JJ Starling is a really good player, but to me, that's what differentiates a good player from a great player is consistency.
Yeah.
You need, if you're gonna be in that category of great, then you need to be playing consistently good every night and consistently good in most, if not all, halves of basketball.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Would I say that I've seen that from him this year? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean, like we all have said, it's like you see his potential.
Mm-hmm.
You see it in some of the halves of basketball that he plays, but definitely some more consistency will be needed. In these last 2 games, anything else that you guys would like to see that you haven't been seeing that you feel like could contribute to, you know, a couple wins, maybe some momentum here as they head into the ACC tournament?
I mean, yeah, as Moten said, SMU is going to be tough tonight. They're one of the top 4 teams in the ACC for a reason. I believe their only home losses this year are to ranked teams, Clemson, Louisville.
12-6 in the ACC.
Right. So they have Boopy Miller is really what makes them go. We'll see if he's back tonight. He's been hurt. They're fighting for a spot in the NCAA tournament. So SMU is going to really have some motivation to win this game, as they should. It's at home. I don't expect Syracuse to win tonight. I think you just kind of want to see some fight from them. You want to see them not lose by 20 or 30. You want to see them be competitive. And then Virginia, like Moten said, to end off the season, you know, it's at home. It's senior night on Saturday night. You want to see them take a win there because that feels like a winnable game, and then you take that momentum into the ACC tournament next week. So if they could split these last 2 games, that would be nice. If they go 0-2, that would put their overall record and their ACC record at kind of a dark spot, even though we know that they're safe to play next week.
Yeah.
Looking forward to these next 2 games to see, like how you guys said, if these guys are going to play with intensity and effort. But one of the things I haven't noticed, and I would like to see at least one game, is all 5 guys play well at the same time. I truly haven't seen that. You get some games where 2 or 3 guys are playing well, 2 guys are playing well, and the other 3 are not. So hopefully if we can get some consistency with all 5 guys giving it their all and playing hard. I saw a little special, and Lampkin is going to bring about 40 or 50 family members and friends, because he's from the Houston area, so, you know, that should give him a little motivation to want to do well, and let's try to steal a victory.
That's genuinely really cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
He's from Texas. It feels like this team is just so random this year, right? That's what even, like, you said you want to see all 5 guys play, like, a consistent 40 minutes of basketball. And then I was thinking about in the Virginia Tech game when you said you weren't watching at that point, but it's the end of regulation. Jaquan Carlos, they're down by 3. They look like they're going to lose. The time's running out. 4 seconds left. Jaquan Carlos, of all people, hits a 3 to send it to overtime. It's like stuff like that you're like, what? Like, Jaquan Carlos, of all people? Like, that's awesome. Glad that happened to send it to overtime. They lost anyway. But, like, how random.
Yeah.
But I feel like it goes back to what he said a few weeks ago that I've been thinking about to this day. No one still knows their role.
Right.
The roles are not clear.
It's
and
random.
I'm not, it's totally random. It's a gaggle.
Yeah,
that's
it's
really
a gaggle.
That's
No,
really
it
what
really
it is.
is a gaggle.
And I'm not saying, like, I understand there are like ebbs and flows to a team. It's not like you always have to go in and know exactly what your role is and stick to it all the time. But like there's a reason why there's certain ranges on some of this stuff, because you have to have some sort of an understanding of who's the guy when it's a pressure situation, who's the guy when you need a bucket, like who is responsible for rebounding. Because also when you have roles, you also then can have accountability. You either did your job or you didn't.
That's right.
When there's no roles, who's really to say who had a great game or who didn't, or how can we improve? The structure from this team is lacking, and it is apparent. I understood in the beginning, they were like, well, we just need to figure some things out. It was a new team. It was a young team. But we've been saying that for so many weeks to the point where the season's actually over now.
Yeah.
And the roles were never found out. And the rules were never given. You know what I mean?
It's like, you rely on JJ and Lampkin as your top scorers, right? Lampkin's going to get the most rebounds. He's had a ton of double-doubles this season, so it's not like he's been playing poorly by any means.
By no means.
But it's just so random, because then it's like the point guard situation. Sometimes they have Carlos play that role. Sometimes JJ plays off the ball. Then they usually realize that isn't working. JJ, maybe that's why he does better in the second half. They progress to him, really running the point more so. But it's just... You would have thought that they would have figured what works and what doesn't work out by March.
Yeah.
Yep.
No true consistency, like you guys have said, and that's key. In order to be a successful team, you have to be consistent, and you have to have guys who know their role and going to do their role very well at all times, and we haven't seen that this year.
It's like I said this in an earlier episode this year, it's like Autry and his staff and everybody involved has like thrown darts at a board, and none of the darts really stick.
And that's what's hard. Like, even I feel like you see with, Syracuse Twitter and whatnot, which I understand is its own beast, but there's always going to be people who think you need to continuously switch the strategy when it's not working, and they're impatient. And there are other people who are like, no, you have to stick with what's working. You know what I mean? I feel like when things get tense, people want to see change.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not that is always the right decision or not. Like, you don't want to jump off the boat for something too early, whether that is Autry himself or that is just the strategies they've been using or what they're trying to make work. At the same time, you do feel like without some sort of meaningful change here, be that NIL money, be that a coach addition or subtraction, something significant feels like it needs to change, because change doesn't happen unless change happens. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
I don't think we could just live here and just expect that things would be different.
Yeah, I don't feel confident. I feel like I speak for most fans that, regularly follow the program going into next season with just the promise of, okay, this recruiting class, Kyan Anthony and Sadiq White. And I don't feel like that's enough to turn around whatever's going on here, be it, adding someone to the assistant coaching staff, whatever you want to talk about in the coaching staff realm, be it adding, clearly they need more NIL money. We talked about that last week. Maybe what do they need out of the portal? Who do they keep? Does JJ come back next year? There's a lot of questions, and we're not going to have all those answers in the next few weeks. It'll take a little while to have that all sorted out. But I definitely don't think just the high school recruits next year are going to turn this ship around.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah, not at all. They'll come in and do their part, hopefully. It's a big adjustment coming from high school to college, where you're playing against guys who've been in college 3-4 years, some now 6. So it's a grown man's game, and we're going to have to just show that we can give our all, show that we are consistent, and it's going to be pressure on coach. Let's keep it real. I love my guy, but where we are from, in upstate New York, we're used to winning. And we want to see us get back to those winning ways, and hopefully we'll get more NIL money, because that's important. Coach Pitino has showed that, and Coach Pitino once said, I don't know if you guys look, he said he's not even going to pick a high school guys.
Saw that.
He's going straight into the portal and transferring guys. So it's just a new time, and we got to figure it out. We got to figure it out soon, or we'll all be going crazy up here.
Yeah, and to the point of, even this year's team, people were saying it's a young team, it's a totally different team. That's just college athletics now, right? Next year it's going to be a totally different team. Lampkin's out of eligibility, Carlos is out of eligibility, Taylor and Jair are out of eligibility, so all those guys are going to be out. You don't know if JJ's going to come back, you don't know if Donnie's going to come back, you don't know Elijah Moore, and then you have the freshmen. So it has the potential to be another young team next year, but I think they need to hit on some guys in the portal too, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, You mentioned, Autry and what you need to see from him. Do you feel like, based on the way that this year's season went, that next year, in a sense, is sort of a tryout for him that could go one way or the other?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be a trying time. It goes all into one aspect though. Everybody's gonna have to do their part. And that goes from the highest of the university to the bottom, and people making the right decisions. We're gonna need the money. I'm gonna keep saying that we're gonna need the money. And just try to have guys that fit our style of play when it comes to Syracuse basketball, and it's gonna be interesting. But I'm with our guys regardless. One of the things I can say positive about Adrian and what he has done is nobody could ever say he didn't give guys a chance, because he's truly given everybody who's on that team a chance to play and show their stuff. So now it's on you. A lot of guys have showed what they can do, and a lot of guys have showed what they're not doing.
Would you agree that next year feels like it has to be NCAA tournament or bust? Not just for Autry and the staff, but for everybody involved. Like you said, the administration, having the resources. It feels like it has to be, right? Because this is 4 years.
Yeah.
Next year you're getting into 5.
Yeah, that's not good. That's like from a freshman to a senior, and all of these college students haven't been to the NCAA. That's an eerie feeling, and that's a feeling that we've never had here in Syracuse. And the sooner we can change that, the better.
I agree. I think that's
Amen.
Amen. That's well said. Listen, the reality of this year is the reality, which is that if they lost both games, their overall record in the regular season would be 12-19. If they won both, they'd end the season 14-17. Either way, we know that the ceiling should be higher. That being said, they are going to the ACC tournament. Anybody? I know we'll probably talk more about that next week. But anyone have anything to say on that? Just the fact that they got in, or what sort of could happen from here?
Yeah, well, we're in, and that's a good thing. Like I said, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were trying to figure out if they were even going to be in, the last 3 in, and now we're actually here. So I know as a former coach and former player, former mentor, one of the things I do know and I say is when there's a new tournament, after the season's over and you're going into the tournament, it's a new season. And you start 0-0. So anything's possible. NC State showed us that last year with getting all the way to the Final Four. Nobody can say they expected that. And, hey, let's just try to get back on the winning track.
Yeah, they won't have a first-round bye, so they'll have to play all the way through the tournament. But I think, and I said this a few weeks ago, as trivial as it sounds, I feel like if they win even 1 or 2 games in the ACC tournament, everyone's going to feel a little better. Just ending the season on that note, couple of wins, I'm not asking them to win the whole thing. Everybody would just feel a little better.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that, because I was just about to pose that question. Like, forget about everyone, just for you guys specifically. Like, let's just say they went in there and won 1 game or 2. Would that change the way you felt about the outcome of this season at all, or not really?
Not for me. It wouldn't change it. It would make me feel a little better, as far as you fought. You showed that you had some fight, But like I said, even these last 2 regular season games against SMU and Virginia, let's win that home game.
Yeah.
Let's win that home game. Have the seniors go out happy. I'll be there to support. I'm like, I don't know if you guys know, Chaz Owens is like my godson. So, I'll be there to support.
Yeah, I don't think it changes the overall feeling of the season. It doesn't change the taste in everyone's mouth, which is poor. Let's just admit it, from this whole year. Bad taste in everyone's mouth. I think it makes you feel a little better. Any sports season, even if it's a bad year and you don't like what happened, ending off on whatever your high note is, whatever you want to quantify that as, makes you feel a little better. 2 wins, that would make me feel a little better. 1 win, I'd probably just be like, all right, time to wrap it up.
But winning at home will be important.
Yeah, Virginia.
Just the last game at home, and we can start off fresh going into the new year, knowing that we won a home game.
Just win, man. Just win. That's all it's about.
Just win, baby.
Yeah, well, listen, we will, of course, be back here next week for the ACC tournament talk and whatever else comes next. Before we leave, Lawrence Moten, I have to ask you about something. I have no idea if you're going to remember this or not, but I just had to ask because I thought it was so interesting. This is from my ex's dad, who's a big SU fan, and he watches the news, so he was like, oh yeah, I saw Lawrence Moten the other day because I'll put you on TV sometimes. Just have to know if you remember this. He said, Lawrence Moten is one of my all-time favorite SU players. I'll never forget when he kissed a teammate who made a game-clinching free throw on a televised game.
Mike Hopkins.
When was this?
Yeah,
what happened?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll never forget that. It was so awesome.
My freshman year. In the dome, 32,000, and we were playing UConn. It was a very tough game, and Mike Hopkins was at the free throw line, and he was shooting a 1-and-1, and he hit it. He hit the first free throw that kind of like sealed the deal for us to take advantage, and I just got emotional, guys. I got emotional and I got in my feelings, and I kissed him on the cheek. I didn't kiss him in the lips. I just kissed him on the cheek. And it was all instinctive.
Yep.
And it went viral.
that's literally so.
So funny.
Never heard that story until he brought it up. Well, just know, people remember it. It was a great little moment there.
Yes.
I did a story this week, by the way, about a bunch of things, but I put an old clip of you playing in it, by the way, and I have to say, you look exactly the same.
Oh,
we were
you.
digging up the old tape, and I was like, that looks
Thank
like
you.
Moten right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about changing my name from Poetry to Timeless.
Oh,
Mic drop. That's it. End of the episode.
Dude, he's too smooth with it.
Yeah.
Get his head off the screen.
We're going to end it there.
All right, man. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us, for joining Timeless Moten and whoever else. We'll see you back here next week when the next big thing happens. Talk soon.
Peace.